As summer vacation came to an end, so did the Kwajalein CYS Commanders Challenge. Participants who completed the challenge were awarded with a certificate of completion. As a bonus to finishing the Commanders Challenge, CYS members took a ride on the Great Bridge and headed to the island of Big Edge. AFN sat down with the CYS teacher, Rachel Rosinski, to learn more about what this challenge had to offer.
I am with a bunch of students from the youth center from 7th to 12th grade. These students, they went through a challenge this summer for 4 weeks. So it's not just any students, they had to complete the entire challenge to get on this boat. They decided, hey, I'm not gonna sit back and do video games, I'm gonna do this for the community and maybe for themselves, learn about themselves. And so by the end of the challenge, they had to complete 28 hours of physical activity. We also did an educational component, and this applies to all the kids except for the kids that did the Beaver Works program. And so they do coding of race cars. But if you were not doing the MIT Beaver Works program, you had to complete the 4 parts. In the first part, it was the book summary. And so they had to go to the library, and the book was already approved, and it was about the history of the Marshall Islands. So there's a few books you can read, and then you had to write a summary on it. The second part was an interview. And so you had to interview someone from Kwajalein or another island that has been here for 10 or more years. Then 5 battlefield stops. So a lot of kids either went on their bikes or got a golf cart, and they stopped at 5 stops of the battlefield, and they had to do a vlog for it.
We're at stop number 1, me, this man. American forces began fighting on Kwajalein Island on the 1st of February, 1944.
Some kids did here on Kwajalein, or they went over to Roy and did that. And the last portion was a wild card. It could be anything, but it has to do with like Marshallese cultures. I'm just so happy that the kids on this boat earned their trip here. It wasn't like, okay, you're gonna go on a boat trip on the Great Bridge. All the kids here really earned this. They worked super hard to get here, which is wonderful to see.
After an hour of touring, enjoying the views, grabbing some food, and even piloting the Great Bridge, the ship approached the shores of Big Edge. The ramp lowered and participants disembarked onto the beach. Their goal? To pick up as much trash as possible. There were 3 groups. 2 headed to the beach and 1 headed to the forest. For the videographer and the photographer, the forest seemed to be the more aesthetic choice.
The press.
Trash bags were filled with all sorts of items littered on the shoreline. In the end, participants filled up 8 trash bags in total. Trash bags filled with all sorts of objects that washed onto shore.
We found a bunch of soda cans, water bottles,
Lots and lots of plastic bottles.
Yeah, a lot of plastic. We found some buoys, sole of a shoe.
A bunch of flip-flops. We found some, like, cans. I want to say sardine cans, but they're not sardines.
I found some super cool Coke bottles and old Japanese glass bottles. They were in like this hill of dirt that was buried with a bunch of trash. Most of them were made in 45, some were made in the 50s.
After a long day of work, students beat the heat by jumping overboard the Great Bridge and going for a swim. The CYS Commander's Challenge teaches students the importance of educating oneself, learning and taking care of their surrounding environment, and helping others. Qualities that everyone should carry out throughout their life. After 2 months of repairs, the Bargain Bazaar finally reopened with a bang. Customers gathered in the lawn for a big sale, $10 to fill up a bag with clothes. Various donated goods were displayed, hoping to be given a second chance. And Boy Scout Troop 314 was there to make sure as many items got that chance. It was time to officially reopen the Bargain Bazaar. Speeches were made and a ribbon was cut to christen the new and improved thrift shop. So what is the Bargain Bazaar anyway? AFN spoke to Kelly Redmond to find out more.
The Bargain Bazaar is the island's thrift store, Kwajalein's thrift store. And this is where people come to do their shopping, whether they're new on island and they need something to tide them over until they get their pack out, or they're looking for something fun to shop because they don't have the patience to wait for Amazon. And also, it's a great place for people who are leaving island, who are PCSing, who need to get rid of things before they leave. They donate them here, and all of the proceeds from the Bargain Bazaar go towards Marshallese and Micronesian education through the YYWC, the Yuk Welcome Club.
From clothes to appliances, kitchenware to DVDs, the Bargain Bazaar has it all.
Some interesting things show up here, but primarily we do sell clothing, lots and lots of clothing, housewares, decorative items, toys, games, shoes, lots of shoes, jewelry, gifts, costumes are a big, big thing for us. If you're looking for something for Halloween or the Swashbucklers or any random party you might be going to, this is the place to come to first. And just all kinds of odd things show up here too. You never know what you're going to find at the Bargain Bazaar.
Shoppers will run into items they never expected to see, thus adding to the fun of thrifting.
Our favorite game here is, what is it? We just look at each other, the volunteers, and say, what is this? And oftentimes we just don't know. So we do recommend that people label things that might be a little different, that we're not familiar with, that normal people aren't familiar with. So include manuals, include boxes, include instructions.
All items are donated to the Bargain Bazaar. But how does one go about donating?
Well, there are a number of ways to donate. Certainly come and spend your money. Just come on down and buy, take it all. And when you're here, if you get reasonable prices and you think, wow, that's a great bargain, you could throw a couple bucks in on the top. I wouldn't stop you. We also have a donation box out here. When you're paying, or if you don't find anything and you just want to throw a few bucks in there, feel free.
The store is not operated by paid staff, but rather by volunteers who donate their time to make sure the doors stay open.
All volunteers do need to belong to the Yuk Welcome Club, which is a wonderful organization that's been on island forever. And the Bargain Bazaar itself has been here since 1960, not in this building, but on island. You just come on down, you can shadow somebody for a day to see if you like what it's all about. If you can't do a regular shift here, you can certainly just work at our events. It could be that you just do it, once a month, once every couple months, whatever works for your schedule. And then of course we have other people who are here all the time.
The Bargain Bazaar is open to all and is a great place to discover something you never knew you needed. Students from both Kwajalein and Ebi put their minds together to compete with one another during the MIT Lincoln Labs Beaver Works Summer Institute Coding Competition. Robotic vehicles controlled by Python code were guided through various obstacles, simply powered by commands written into its memory. AFN sat down with Sarah Willis of MIT Lincoln Laboratory to learn more about this head-to-head bot battle.
Beaver Works Summer Institute is a STEM program for high school students, and this year the Students' Challenge was a course called Mini Race Car. So they were using a autonomous self-driving car based on a remote control car chassis. And the students had to use Python code to program the car to navigate a series of obstacles. The first one was line following. So the car was using the camera to detect a particular color. So in this case, their goal color was red. So we traced out a red path on the ground, and the goal was for the cars to follow that as closely and as smoothly as possible. So the students had a wired controller to be able to provide a speed input to the car, so they were directing how fast it went, and the car was using its camera to detect where the line was and steer itself across the course. The second challenge that the students completed was driving in a pre-programmed shape. So for this challenge, they had the specific size of the course known in advance, so they were to drive in an 8-foot square. So the goal was to test and see how the car responded to different commands, like how fast it would go as a function of time, how quickly it can actually take corners, and then program the car to execute a square driving in 90 degrees. And then to make it a bit more challenging, we threw cones around the perimeter and then like an outer boundary so that there would be some point deductions depending on if they were exceeding the parameters of the challenge. So we have the students write their code and test it first in a simulator, which is basically like just a video game on the laptop. Once they've tested that their code works more or less how they expect in the sim, they're allowed to then send the code over to the car and then try testing in the real world. And then you always get real world effects and tune it up.
Real world effects, as in imperfections that don't happen in a perfect computer simulation.
Some of the effects that happen are glare, that's a big one because they're using computer vision. So the car has a camera that's looking out at the world around it, and so if the lighting conditions are different than what the students were programming in, glare could affect their ability to detect a particular color, for example. Some of the other issues are the cars have motors, and the motor has an on-off switch. And so, it's a frequent reminder to remember to turn your motors on. You can have issues, one team ended up realizing they had a smudge on their camera lens from a fingerprint. And so that just extra bit of distortion is enough to change how the car perceives the colors around it and can cause it to behave differently than you expect.
The final competition was trying to program the car to park within a rectangle. Kind of sounds like a self-parking car, right? Well, this is the technology that such features use.
Computer vision is used in a lot of different fields. Obviously, self-driving cars are actually actually becoming a reality, and so certainly there are job opportunities there. But in general, Python is one of the most prolific programming languages in the world, so students who get experience coding in Python could apply it everywhere. For all of our students, even the ones who have had no coding experience prior to this summer, one of the most familiar areas of computer vision to them, even though they don't realize it, is looking at something like a Snapchat filter. So the people who created Snapchat filters were able to sell their initial product for $150 million or something like that. And so that's applications of computer vision that the students use and that have very real world, tangible potential benefits for people who invest in that type of technology. The overall competition winner was the Golden Beavers. So that was Crimson Stambaugh, Mason Aljor, Joel Solomon, Tatiana Lanwi, and Bernays Joseph. I think that being able to learn about STEM has some real potential power to help, especially for students here in the RMI. That's not an area that their schools have really been able to dig in deeply on yet. So the fact that this year we were able to offer the program to both the students here on Kwajalein as well as on eBay was really a big win for us. I would encourage any students who are interested in even just exploring possible STEM career opportunities to consider signing up the next time we have the Beaver Works program available here on the atoll.
After the competition was over, probably one of the most memorable events of the night happened. If you were there, you know.
We ordered cakes from the Triple J on eBay, and we had a number of very enthusiastic spectators, primarily probably under the age of 10. And when we announced that the cake was available at the end of the event, there was a little bit of a cake stampede.
Such a beautiful day here in Kwaj. The sun is shining, the air... excuse me. Yes, you can't do that there. Yes, you. Come here. Can't you read the sign? That's not allowed. Sure, it's your choice to smoke, but don't expose others to it. You need to do that somewhere else. Wait. Safety first. Attaboy. Up. You can't do that while riding a bike. Or in any vehicle for that matter. You can't smoke there. No, you can't smoke there either. You can't smoke there either. Keep moving. By the pool? No, that's not cool. You're not the smartest guy on the island, are you? A theater? That's worse than having your phone out during the movie. Okay, you definitely can't smoke in there. No. Oh, real mature. Okay, this is getting ridiculous. There are 2 signs, obviously. Okay, if you need to smoke, you must be at least 50 feet from any entrance. You're smarter than I thought. Feet? Well then enjoy. This policy also applies to electronic cigarettes and chewing tobacco.
I am Nikki Childs. Welcome to Teachers Karaoke.
Hi, my name is Ja Lauren. We have a special drink tonight, and it's called Tennis Tequila Sunrise. And thank you. They're gonna singing a karaoke tonight.
My name is Brian Lee, and we are here to rock. Oh yeah.